YouTube. You can check later. There is the first 8. Can everybody with their calculator and no math skill whatsoever get those 8 answers? Excellent. Next question. Calculate tan of A. There is A. Tan is always opposite over adjacent. I didn't even put the hypotenuse on this triangle so you couldn't be confused. Opposite 2, adjacent 3. 2 over 3. That's the tan. Then you shift tan to get the angle. Can everybody do number 3? Excellent. Number 4 says you have to tell me what you did. I can't answer that because I am not you. You would have to tell me what you did. What I did was I looked for the opposite and the adjacent. I set up the fraction, and then I went to my calculator and pushed shift, tan, bracket, 2 divided by 3, bracket, equals. If you have a backwards calculator, that's not going to work for you. You need to know how to do it. But if you got 34 and 59 and 2 over 3 and 2.5 or 1.5, then you know how to do it. P and Q. Now this one's a little more confusing because I put the hypotenuse on there. But of course, since you're only doing tan, does that or that matter? Does it? No, because tan is opposite and adjacent, never the hypotenuse. So you never had to worry about them. Then you just fill it in. And you will notice for the last one, I just wrote what you had to enter into your calculator. I didn't put the answers because I was falling behind making the key, and I didn't want to get there. But if you put 4 times tan 20, 4 times tan 30, 4 times tan 40, you're going to have the right answers. Does anybody have any questions for the bottom, which is just tan? Tan being the sides of the triangle that are not the hypotenuse. Everybody's good? Loverly. Oh, and by the way, while I'm scrolling to the next page, Mr. Gill was thoroughly pleased with all 4 of my classes. He said, and I quote, all was well, which is not the usual report I get from TOCs. So well done, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. It always makes me quiver in my converse a little bit when I have to go away and leave you with TOCs. But no need to be quivering this time. Although there was a need to be quivering because while I was gone, I was getting acupuncture, which makes one quiver.
Ow.
No, acupuncture does not hurt. That's the beauty of it. Although it does hurt now, it feels like I did a big workout yesterday, even though I did nothing but lie there and get needles stuck into my leg.
I just don't like needles.
You don't see them. Just don't look. Okay.
It's the very concept of something being inside my skin that bugs me.
You know all of you is inside your skin, right?
Okay, a foreign element.
Oh, okay. All right. I get it, Aiden. It's an irrational fear. That's why it's irrational. It can't be explained. Same way my kid's scared of bees.
No, I know where psychologically it probably came from.
Be that as it may, it is still irrational because the needle is not going to hurt you. It is going to help you. That's why you get needles, to help you.
The fluid inside the needle helps you react.
Yes, but there is no other way to deliver it. All right, there is the next question. I drew the triangle for you. On a test, this part will not be there. Okay? Just like in the real world, when you have to solve a problem, you have to solve a problem.
So 2 buildings, no lines between them.
There will be, I wouldn't even have the buildings there. You would have to figure that out. But here is many examples of how to do it. You're going to do about 4 more in today's notes. If you don't pay attention, then you're not going to know how to do it. which means you should get what for a grade in the class?
0.
Not very good. Michael. Of course it's okay if you have 14.47. Does everybody understand what I did there? If this was 10, then this was 10. So once I found that little bit, which was right here, I added the 10 to it to get 14.5. Aight? Aight. Next question. And this is what trig is used for, okay? You measure stuff indirectly. You use trigonometry to measure distances that you cannot actually measure, right? Nobody is climbing to the top of the Calgary Tower with the tape measure and jumping off to measure the height of it. But you can do it with this. Why would you ever have to do that? Well, you probably wouldn't have to measure the height of the Calgary Tower, but you might have to measure, for example, the height of a tree in your backyard that you would like to cut down. Because if you don't measure it and you cut it down and it is too big, it hits your house, or your neighbor's house, or your fence, or goes across the road, all of which would get you in a lot of trouble. But with one calculation of trigonometry learned in grade 10 math, you would not have any of those problems. That is what you do. You had a theta, 66.1, I gave it to you. You had an adjacent of 84, I gave it to you. And the opposite was the tower. So, tan theta is opposite over adjacent, tower over 84, numbers on the bottom, so we multiply. The tower is 189.56 meters tall. Yes, Wong.
But we have to add the 1.5 meter because it is our the clinometer is.
Oh yeah, see, I didn't read that. So you should have added 1.5. Actually, I lie. Yes, you should have added that. So it should have been 191.06. But again, that's the type of thing, if this question was out of 3, you would still get 2.5. Because I care more about the trig. Yeah, yeah? Yeah, yeah. And once again, that's what happens when you rush. Because I was trying to get this whole key made in the last 5 minutes of X block. These two, it's all right there. Sine is again the fraction. Then you shift sine to get the angle. Any problems? No? Excellent. And again, this is the same. What did you do? Then you did the same thing with cos. The only difference is you're using a different side of the triangle. There is sine A, cos A, sine A, cos A, sine A, and cos A for all 3. Check your work. Make sure you did okay. And remember, as Wong just pointed out, I did this whole 4 pages in about 5 minutes. It's possible I rushed through and made an error. So if you have something different than me, please say so. Unless it is you have, Mr. Myers, is 59.7 okay for 60? Yes. It is. Everybody good? Once? Twice? Thrice? Okay. One. What about C? Let's check it. The sine of A is opposite over hypotenuse.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't put the you put the sine A and cos A in the A angle, but
I said cos A was the same thing as sine A. What a dunderhead. Cos A is 32.8 over 65.
The question also asked us to do C as well as A for everything. So you're supposed to do sine A, cos A, and angle A, as well as sine C, cosine, angle
Oh,
C.
crap. Okay.
So
Well, it's the same numbers, isn't it? They're just reversed. So if sine A is that, then
cos C would be the exact same.
the opposite. Cos C would be 7.7 over.
Yeah. And
The angles should all be the same.
the angle should be 90 minus whatever A was.
Yeah, that will work too. And then 13 is always the same. Once you do it once, theta was 34. AC was your adjacent. Your hypotenuse was 21. So it's AC over 21. So it's 21 times cos 34. So now the only thing that has changed is the degrees. So it's 21 cos 55, 21 cos 79. And the last thing, it's not quite the last thing. The last thing on that page is you did it once. It was 6 over 21. Then the 6 changed to 11 over 21 and 16 over 21. Then you use your calculator to find the actual angles by doing shift cos. This question made you do two. This is tricky. The original question has no numbers on it, yes? This is kind of the next level. I gave you the triangle, but I gave you no numbers. So you had to look at that and use your brain. Triangle ABC is right there. Triangle ABC, right? It is attached to the mast at point A. The foot of the guy wire is 1.1 from the foot of the mast. I don't know where the foot of a mast is, Mr. Myers. Where's your foot? The bottom of your body. So where do you think the foot of the mast is? Bottom of the mast. What's the mast? What if you don't know? What could you do? Well, you could ask, right? Because that's not a math question. That's an English question. This is the mast. So I have this triangle right here. 1.1. The wire is 3.7. And you wanted the angle of inclination. Where is the angle of inclination? A or B? A, because it is between horizontal and up. So you needed to find A, which I had right here in green. I had to use cosine because I had the adjacent. Now, the next question is tricky because you think you're going to be using the other triangle, right? But when you read the question, it tells you you're using the same triangle, but you have new values. B to C is 3.2, B to C, and AB is 3.5. And so now I have opposite over adjacent, 3.5 over 3.2, and I get 48. Yes?
At the end of the B question, it says determine it to one decimal place. So
Oh, okay. So whatever it was, I don't know.
might have kept it to 47.6.
Sure, 47.6. If that's what it is, that's what it is. Again, I did not read my own instructions because I was trying to get it done in time because, again, this is what matters. Of course it's an acceptable answer because you answered what the question asked. I didn't. And finally, the kite question. I gave you the drawing. All you had to do was figure it out. And I don't know what the answer is. It's whatever 176 times sine 27 is. 80? Cool in the gang. Whatever. Is everybody good with basic trig now? When you have the triangle, can you work it out? The only thing you need to know is theta is the angle you start from, and it can never be 90. And then you have to know what opposite and adjacent and hypotenuse mean. Other than that, you don't need to know a thing. You don't even need to actually know what adjacent and hypotenuse are because it's on your data booklet. It actually shows you on your data booklet what is what. Sine of A is opposite over a hypotenuse. Okay? Okay. So now, if you could all turn to page 65, that would be Loverly. Loverly. Which was a song from some play. I can't remember which one.
Hamilton?
No. Wouldn't it be Loverly was from maybe My Fair Lady? I don't know. Was it My Fair Lady? All I want is room somewhere far away from the cold night air. Anyway, I love me some show tunes. Okay. So what's the only difference between everything we've done to now? Because this is the first thing we're starting right here. What's the difference between question number 9 and every other question you've done? No triangle. So what should I do? Draw a triangle. Now, let's do some stuff with that triangle. Ike's on a soccer field looking at the roof of the school. Where does it make sense to make the school? On the right, on the bottom, or on the diagonal? On the right, because it's the wall of the school that goes straight up from the ground. So there's the school. Ike, where's Ike? On the ground. Where's the ground? Top or on the left? On the left, because he's on the ground. There's my man Ike. What else do I know? He's 42 meters away from the bottom of the school. Where's the bottom of the school? Right here. So that's 42. What else do I know? The degree, the angle of elevation is 30. Where's the angle of elevation? There's only 2 angles it could be. It can't be the 90 between the wall and the ground, so it has to be A or B. Which is it? A. Why? Because he's looking up. He starts looking at the bottom of the school, and then he looks up to the top of the school. So there is my 30. Now you have your triangle, and all of you should be able to do this, yes? And you do it the exact same way we've done the previous 1,000 questions. Do you have a theta? What is it? 30. Now, once you have theta established, that's where you name your opposites and your adjacents. What is that 42 compared to 30? Adjacent. Why? I see this line is also beside 30. Why is it the hypotenuse? It's opposite from the right angle. It already has a name. It doesn't get to have 2. So A is 42, which means I need how tall is the school? Which line is the height of the school? The diagonal or the up and down? Up and down. So that's what I need. So that's my unknown. That is an opposite because it's across from my theta. What math uses A and O? Tan. Tan of theta equals O over A. Now, all you got to do is fill it in. What's theta? Tan of 30 equals O, which is X over A, which is 42. Number on the bottom, what math do you do? Times 42 tan 30 equals. And then you have to work that out depending on your machine, right? Now, Avery spent a great deal of X-Block working with somebody who couldn't get his mind around the fact that Avery had a different calculator than him. I do not understand that. I am wearing a different shirt than you. You all understand that you can have different things. And maybe things will be different. For example, my shirt, I had to button it up. Kelvin's shirt, he just got to pull it on over his head. Yet they both serve the purpose of covering our bellies, even though they're totally different shirts. Kelvin needs to know how to work it. If Kelvin tried to button up that t-shirt, it wouldn't work very well. If Kelvin tried to pull my shirt over his head buttoned up, it would not work very well. He solved his problem. You need to know how your calculator works. I've explained it a bazillion times. If you still don't know, what must you do? Wait for the computer to die.
Find a pamphlet or get someone to explain it to you.
Exactly. Now, next question. What's the answer, by the way? 24?
No. Yeah, 24 and a quarter.
24.25 meters. Lovely. Next question. What is missing? I don't have a triangle, do I? Okay. Abby's flying in a plane. Where are planes? Up in the sky. So here's the plane. It's flying up in the sky. Here's the ground, right? The plane will be flying this way, yes? If you look out the window and you see a town, where will the town be? Up here, floating with you? No! It is not Sky City like in the old Spider-Man comic books. It is Mission down here on the ground. What does that make? A triangle. Nice voice. Good job. I know you did that on purpose. It was too perfect a voice crack to be anything but on purpose. Now, what do you know? You know that Abby is in an airplane 2,500 feet above the ground. Where is that? It's the vertical line, 2,500. I want to know how far away horizontally is the town of Mission. What's horizontal? Flat or diagonal? Flat. So this is what I don't know. And I see it at an angle of depression of 15. Where is the only angle of depression in that triangle? Is it at A or B? A, because depression goes from the flat looking downwards. So this is fitting. Now, just like our previous 1,000 trig questions, what do? Do you have a theta? What is it? 15. Once you have theta set up, here's Abby. I'll give her some ponytails because, she's a girl. There we go. They look like bug antenna. Just because I'm a bad artist doesn't mean you need to be hurtful.
Bug's Life.
Bug's Life has one of my favorite jokes in it ever. When the guy asks, I can't remember if it's in Bug Life or not, where they're at the bar and he asks the fruit fly about how life is going.
Epic.
And was it in Epic?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like,
what's life like for a fruit fly? Oh, it's great. I love it. It's so... And then he dies. Because fruit flies only live for a day.
Yeah. What's it like having such a short
lifespan? It's awesome. I love it. I can't get it. Oh.
It's great, mister. When I grow up, I'm going to wish I'd done more with my life.
Dead. Yeah, I love it. Evan. Whatever you need to do, buddy. Just like always.
So I watched that scene.
So, we are set up with Abby. So what is that side compared to Abby? Opposite. Your opposite is 2,500. What is that side compared to Abby? You're adjacent, which is, I don't know, what uses O and A? Tan theta is O over A. Tan 15 equals O, 2,500 over A. When the number was on the bottom, we multiplied. So what do we do when it's not? Divide 2,500 divided by tan 15. And again, you must know how your machine works. What is it? Should be like 9,000 and something. 9,330. Terrific. Gouda? Please notice that if you take the 1 extra second, it's really hard to do this wrong. Mr. Myers, I hate it when teachers ask us to show our work. Except that showing your work tells you how to do it. So you probably should consider it.
Writing?
Okay, number 11 has 2 different ways you can solve it. Take a moment. Try to draw the triangles. If you feel you've drawn them right and you are working in pencil like you're supposed to be, go ahead and try to solve it. But chances are you're going to draw the triangle wrong. Be careful. Read the question. Yes.
is this one here from 1900 meters? Wouldn't it just be 300 meters horizontally since along the road is still forward?
Yeah.
Or is
All right.
the diagonal?
So, well, think about it. Where would you drive your car?
Okay, yeah. So this is the diagonal, which means. Okay, sure. That makes.
All right.
Almost.
So, let's look at just this first statement. What would the triangle look like? Well, it rises 1 meter. So, it goes up 1 meter. Is that a triangle yet? No, that's a line. Let's make it a triangle. Now the road is rising, yes? Where is the 19? You have two choices. One is the hypotenuse, one is the leg. Which one is the 19? Look carefully and think about it. And you got a fitty shot if you don't want to think about it. I will give you this hint. Here is my car. Where will my car be driving? Right through this road, and then it'll hit an elevator and go up there, right? No. It will drive up the hypotenuse. So there is my 19. Yeah? Now, I want to know how far does the car travel horizontally if it goes 300 meters along the road. So now I'm not going 19. How far am I going? 300. So I have the same triangle, but this is now 300. Right? I want to know this distance. Two ways you could do it. One, could I find this distance here? How? What options do I have to find that distance? Third side of a triangle. I could do Pythagoras.
But it wouldn't be that much different.
Yeah, it won't be that much different. You got to be real careful. Could I do Pythagoras? Yes. That's one thing I could do. I could do the square root of 19 squared minus 1. Right?
You could find the angle for 19 and 1 and transfer that over.
I could also find this theta using what? What would find that theta? Sine, opposite, and hypotenuse. Once I know that angle, I can bring it over here, can't I? And then I have, what's this side? That would be adjacent. So once I know that angle, over here I need sine. What do I need over here? Cos, because I have adjacent and hypotenuse. Right? Another way I could do it, I could use similar triangles. 19 compares to 300 as that compares to that. That's what you learned in grade 9. You learned that method. So go ahead and tell me what the answer is, now that you know how to do it. And again, I stress, a great many of you will accidentally have said the 19 was down here, not up the road. So that's shift sign of what? What numbers are over here?
Lovely. Cos 3 times 300.
1 over 19, which will then give you theta. And then over here, you're going to take that theta and you're going to work with cos. Cos theta equals A over 300. So 300 times cos theta will give me my adjacent. And it will be, whoa, what is going on there? Ooh. 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 It will give me, oh, right, quality. It'll give me something around Slightly less than 300. Probably 299-ish. Oh, no. That'll be not quite right.
299.59.
299.59. There we go.
Instead of the nearest meter, that might mean that you have to round it to a full number, which would be 300.
Indeed. Why is it 300?
Because my brain thinks it's
No, why is it 300? If I said round to the nearest meter, which I did, how can this be 300 and this be 300? Well, in reality, this is a very tiny number, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's 3 degrees, right?
Oh, it'd be a really thin triangle.
That's like 3 degrees.
Yeah, it's not.
Again, it's using your brain to apply a situation in real life. Yes, mathematically, it's 299.5, right? But in reality, over the course of 300 meters, you're this far off. This far off from 300 meters. Everybody understand what I'm saying? Okay. Next question. Determine the area of this rectangle. What do I need to determine the area of a rectangle? Goes back to the first unit. Why am I doing this? Because you're about to write a test on both units. What do you need to do to find the area of a rectangle?
Width times length.
Length times width, right? Which one of these would you make the length?
Horizontal.
Okay, so you're going to make that L. What's that going to make that?
Width.
W. If that up there is L, is this also L? Yep. So now you have this triangle. Do you have 2 pieces of information for that triangle? What do you know about that triangle? Is there a theta? What is it? 21. What's this? What's this? Hypotenuse. So your H is 12.7, right? What's your opposite? Or I said W for width, but yeah, you could make it X. W for width, and what's your adjacent? L for length. What uses O and H? Sine. Sine 21 equals W over 12.7. How do you solve that?
Sin 21.
12.7 times sine 21 equals W, right? What's the other one? Cos 21 equals L over 12.7. So 12.7 cos 21 equals L. Why haven't I gone to my calculator yet? Do any of these give me the answer that I seek? I'll wait a moment. What is the answer that I seek? What is the question asking me? Area. Isn't area L times W? Well, I don't go to my calculator. All of a sudden I've got it, don't I? What's W? 12.7 times sine 21. There's W. Times, what's L? 12.7 times cos 21. Now I only need to go to my calculator once. Why is that a good idea? Less rounding and less chances to hit a wrong button. Do I have to do it this way? No. Would I be allowed to find W right there? Would that make Mr. Myers happy if I rounded W right there? Yeah, it would. Right? That's the 3 answer. That's the B answer. You want the A? You would sort it out as best as you can. Everybody understand? That's why I keep showing you the work. Okay, number 13 is a math class question, yes? Because it's not real life. But please notice, The question says we need to find MN, which is this side, correct? How many pieces of information do I need to find the sides and angles of a triangle? I need two. I need an angle and a side, or two sides, correct? What do I have in that yellow triangle?
You have an angle.
I just have an angle.
But you also have an
But in this blue triangle, what do I have?
an angle and a side.
I have both. So can I use this blue triangle to help me with the yellow triangle?
Yeah.
How? Find the blue side, which on the blue triangle is going to be an O or an A, isn't it? But what is it on the yellow triangle? It's a hypotenuse. So once you work with the blue triangle, and I'll write in blue, do I have a theta? What is it? 33. What else do I have? I have an hypotenuse of 8.2. And what do I need? I need an adjacent. And right now, that's my x. Right? Now, can I use my calculator right now? I could, but I'm going to need to do something later, yes? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys the way I do this. You can do this the way you want to do it. What I do is, because I know I'm going further and I don't want to mess up my rounding, I write this out. Cos 33 equals x over 8.2, right? So 8.2 cos 33 will give me my x, right? Now that x in my yellow triangle, that x is really an hypotenuse, isn't it? Right? So if I look at my yellow triangle, do I have a theta? What is it? 49. And I have an hypotenuse that is what? If I haven't done it yet, right? So I know my hypotenuse is 8.2 cos 33. And I need, what's this side in my yellow triangle? Opposite. And that I'm going to call y, because we've already used x. So what do I know? I know that sine 49 equals opposite y over 8.2 cos 33. Because I know this and this are the same thing, yes? When that's on the bottom, do I do math here? Yes. What math? Multiply. So y equals sine 49 times 8.2 times cos 33.
So bracket.
You don't even need brackets with times because they're all the same bed mass, right? Sine times 8.2 cos 33. And then I can do it all in one go and then round at the end. Remember, that is only necessary if you want the primest amount of marks available to you. Am I perfectly happy if you use your calculator here and get a number? And then you take that number and put it in there. Is that okay? Yes, of course it is.
Then you're going to round to the 10th centimeter.
Is everybody good? Please notice, again, nothing new. But again, this is how trig is useful to us. You take measurements that you know, and you can measure stuff with those measurements without actually doing it. And I call your attention back to those people you see out on the side of a road looking through a telescope at somebody way far away from them. They're not running a tape measure across the highway, are they? Right? If I got to dig a hole for a pipe from one place to another, do I dig up the whole street, then measure it, then fill the street back in and fix it, then go order the pipe, then go back to the street, dig out the hole, drop it in, then fix it? No, I plan it out first using this.
When you dig out the street or get the measuring order the pipe put in and then fix the street after, it's just remove the fixing it and remove it twice over.
I'm not sure what you just asked me. Let's move on to number 14. Now you will notice as they get slightly more complicated, I go back to giving you the triangles a couple of times, right? Here's the triangle. 2 trees, 55 yards apart from a point halfway between the trees. I got the elevations. What's the height of each tree? So I got 2 trees here, right? They're different, aren't they? What do I give in math to an unknown value? A letter, yeah? So if I make this tree X, can I make this tree X? Why? See what I did there? Why? Stop it. Why not? Because I can't have 2 X's or they'd be the same height. We know they're not the same height. So I have this triangle, which is blue, and I have this triangle, which is green. In the blue triangle, do I have a theta? What is it? 29. So I'm going to write that out while my computer thaws. The blue pen, not the highlighter. Theta of 29. And what is this distance? It's an adjacent, but what is it? 55 divided by 2, which is 27.5. And my opposite is x. So what math is O and A? Tan 29 is x over 27.5. Then I do my math. In the green triangle, my theta is 34, my adjacent is 27.5, and my opposite equals y. Tan 34 equals O y over 27.5. 27.5 tan 34 will give me y, and 27.5 tan 29 will give me x. And all of you will know how to do it. Now, I'm going to shut up for a moment because 15 is the hardest question you have ever done in Trig. So if you have finished with 14, give 15 a try. And I warn you, read the question carefully. Class is going to end in approximately 13 minutes. Your job tonight is 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Try them. We will get through at least 15 today. But you're all going to attempt that one by yourself. It's very tricky. But again, you only need the 2 tools that you have, Pythagoras and SOHCAHTOA. I'm going to shut up and let you work for a while, and then we will do 15 and possibly 16. Because they're the exact same question when you think about it.
Which measurement is it asking us for 15?
GHJ. So, you go from G to H
Oh, so it's the perimeter.
to J. No, it's asking for an angle.
Alright. Why can't I just say the
Zara.
angle of H?
Yes, because there's 2 angle H's, isn't there? That's an angle H and that's an angle H.
Oh.
So I need GHJ. Hopefully we will have enough time to go over 15. If we don't, no big deal. But I will warn you of this. Number 16's triangles look exactly like 15's when you're trying that at home tonight. Or trying it right now if you get there today. Because I can't remember when class ends on a Thursday. 11:28. Oh, good. We have 14 minutes left. Loads of time to do 5 trig questions. So you guys for homework are finishing to the end of page 69. Yep. You want to do 15 to 20. Now you will notice there is extra practice on 70 and 71. It's textbook pages. The answers are there. If you're feeling comfortable, you should try a few. The answers are there, right? We will see tomorrow how 15 to 20 go. If they go well, I may start your review tomorrow and make it homework for the weekend. If they go poorly, about 16? Sure. Well, yeah, here would be the tower. And so you're making a tower and they're wired like that. They're from the same spot. Oh, it's blue again? Son of a... So for 16, there's your tower right there. And instead of being wired this way to the same point on the tower, they're wired to the same point on the ground. But it's the same principle, is what I meant. And like I say, I'd really like to go over 15 because 15 is actually a really hard question. Unless you think very carefully about it.
15.
Yeah. Let me give you a hint to 15 if you're in trouble. Please notice that there are 2 triangles.
Couldn't you just find the base of the small one and add it to the base?
Yes, of course you could. Yes, because that requires you to use 2 different triangles.
You have to calculate both of,
You have to find the whole angle from G to H to J, so all of that.
yeah, so you have to find both of H's.
Mm-hmm. But you're not going to be able to find both of H's the way you've done that because you don't know how to do trig with this triangle that has more than a 90 degree. So you got it. That's why you need to look at it as 2 triangles. Or maybe you do, because I think you were in my Honors 9 class, and I think we might have talked about that but never actually done it.
Wouldn't it just be using the 40 degrees, or not the 40 degrees, the 68 degrees to find the hypotenuse, and then that would give you the number for H's degree?
I'm not sure what you're saying. Yes. 9 can't be theta, it's a side. Thetas can only be angles. But you're on the right track. You have to use that 9 to do something with the red triangle. If you are struggling with 15, please observe. I'm going to help you out a little bit. Oh, and this down here was 4, I believe, yes? That's 4. Does that help? Knowing that that is that.
Now I figured this out. H here has a degree of 2.
How do you know that?
Because I did cos, I used the 66 degrees.
How did you know that was 66?
Because I did the 9 and the 4, and it's opposite over adjacent.
Yeah, but there's no 90 there.
So you can't do it?
No, you can only do SOHCAHTOA with a right angle triangle.
Oh, okay.
But I like the way you're thinking.
Okay.
To the
I really like the way you're thinking. You have a fallacy.
Has anyone ever been able to figure this out first try?
No.
what?
Oh,
That's
okay.
why it's in the notes.
Figured what out.
Thank you. So,
But you do all have the tools to do this.
You're talking about 15?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I can't see what you did.
It didn't seem difficult to me.
It's because we're nerds.
Nope, you're right.
You got it?
You got it.
That seemed very okay. Okay. Well, sure. I just did Pythagoras. 9 squared minus 6 squared equals this thing, which plus 4 is this. Then divided by that, tan is the answer.
That's exactly what I did to begin with.
But then you overthought it, right? Find your, when you get to an answer.
I had the 10.7 right there already.
Yeah, I know you did. Yes, go ahead. Oh, is that all? Well, that's boring.
I know.
I'll let it go.
Okay.
All right. Everybody's had a bit of time to play around with 15.
Okay, so when it's
Does everybody recognize that
they're the exact same thing.
damn it, that was the original triangle? Right? If I slide this over here, that's what I have, yeah? Does everybody agree? Okay.
When it says the nearest meter, it means like a whole number.
Yes.
Okay, good.
So, can I find this red distance on this triangle? How? Pythagoras. This is 9 squared minus 6 squared. Then I square root the whole thing, yes? Which gets me approximately 6.7. Agreed? So if this red line is 6.7, how long is that red line? 6.7, right? Everyone agree? Which means how long is the whole red line here? 10.7. Now, I needed GHJ, that theta, correct? Sooner or later it'll be correct. That's the theta I need, right? Yeah. Right? So, what's that compared to the theta that I need? What's this compared to my theta? That's the opposite. My opposite is 10.7. What's this compared to my theta? Adjacent. 6. What uses O and A? Tan. I need an angle, so is it tan or shift tan? Shift tan of O, 10.7, over A, 6. And you get an answer of something like 64 degrees. Is there more than one way to solve it? Yes, there is. And some people will find another way to solve it. I'm willing to show you another way if you wish, just to show you that there is another way to do so, and because we're almost out of time. The other way requires way more trig, but it is still doable. No? Okay.
That's a quarter of the way, so it'd be a quarter of the way down. So if 40 degrees is 130, then it's a quarter of 130 would be 10 degrees. 45, so I really hope I'm doing that right.
I don't know, are you?
No clue.
What's the only way to get better at
It's
something?
17. I'm hoping I'm getting it the best I can. If
Bye, Ms. Lloyd.
When we're marking and all that, it turns out I'm wrong. I'll pay attention to what you actually did.
Sure. 16 through, I think it goes to 20, doesn't it? Yeah. You stop at 20.
Morning. Here are your announcements for Abbey Community College. Donate rejected use of facilities program, please come to the counseling center at 11 o'clock. Senior girls soccer practice is Saturday. The next practice is for the soccer team will be on Thursday this week at 3 to 4:15. All players can support forms will be handed out on Tuesday.
But I was not here yesterday, so how can I possibly help you?
Senior band is canceled this afternoon due to uncontrolled circumstances. Mr. McDonald apologizes for
Mr. Mendoza.
There is mandatory and short meeting for all participants this Friday.
The review that isn't marked and check my mark, it's the review from the first unit, entitled Measurement Review. Yeah.
Because I remember one time I did a reduction and I said I was going to show it to you on Monday.
Uh-huh.
And I never got to show it to you.
Okay.
And so my mom's losing like her crap.
Well, she should be, because that was supposed to be marked ages ago. Right, 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 right. Oh, that's technically wrong. Right, right, right. Don't remember.
Grad photo retake will now be scheduled in the office. Friday, March 2nd. Additional sitting fees must be terminated. Any applicants who would like to attend the Snow 2 week
Wrong,
concert
right.
at Sasquatch Mountain, please
Right,
fill
right.
in the form in the app this week.
Right. So you've lost 2 marks so far.
Permission form.
It's in your bag.
All of
Right.
your
And right. So you got 18 out of 20. Gavin.
How about what's the first one?
It was the first quiz. It looked like this. You marked it in class. And you were supposed to tell me what you got on it. But you can also explain to your mother that quizzes don't count for anything. But she probably won't believe you. Mums never do.
Yeah, like you teach us deeper. Mom.
It's not in there.
Yeah, you can't fool me. Okay. Pretty sure I got 9 out of 12 on it.
Well, you marked it.
Was it this one? Yeah, 9 out of 12.
Okay. You were supposed to write them on your test.
Oh yeah, Kevin.
Yeah, no.
You didn't write your quiz.
So I wrote that's why. Because I didn't write it on the test.
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to change that today? Because
Yep. Why? You don't want to go into a weekend with 2 zeros on there.
I don't want to go to a weekend with my mom yelling at me.
Well, if she watches today's YouTube, the very end has me saying quizzes don't count for anything if you need some proof.